also have quite a few people that are joining from Dubai, the UAE, Abu Dhabi, because I've got a lot of friends over there as well. I help cover that market for business development. And when they heard that we were inviting Dr. Nicole Stevens on to talk to us about some special products as well as the MetaPower system, they wanted to join in as well. So just a little bit of context, this is specifically for India, but in the UAE, we will be getting some of these very products soon. So we're excited to be joined by Dr. Nicole Stevens. I think this is your third or fourth call with us. So everybody knows who you are that's been with doTERRA for a while. And Dr. Nicole Stevens is the head of research substantiation, essential oil research. She's got her PhD, her doctorate in epigenetics, right? And
Biochemistry, biology.
biochemistry. Okay.
Yeah.
Uh, but you're an expert in biochemistry and you know a lot about how the essential oils interact with our genes and how they can help with our full health support. And so we're very grateful to be joined by her today. We're going to be talking about the promotions that we have in India for this month. So some of these new oils, as well as some new products that have been launched recently that are available exclusively on the Loyalty Advantage program, which I'll take a little bit of that part once we get to that slide. And then for the other half of the call, we're going to be talking about the MetaPower system, the soft gels, the assist, and the advantage. As you know, that we're going to continue to do education on that until we launch those products so that once the products are in the market, you can hit the ground running and you and your teams can be fully prepared to start taking the products and knowing with full confidence how to use them and teaching others to do the same. So, and then we'll also add another 5-10 minutes at the very end for question and answers. But when I think about experts in the essential oil industry, Dr. Nicole Stevens and a few others always come to the top of mind. And so not only is doTERRA the largest essential oil company in the world, but we also have the brightest minds in the industry. And Nicole Stevens has been uh, studying and researching and testing and doing clinical trials with essential oils for decades. So this is a huge treat. So make sure to pull out your notepad, take lots of notes. This is being recorded, so that we'll send this out once it's all downloaded to the cloud and cleaned up to all of you so that you can reference for your MetaPower education. Again, this is a call for builders and customers. So if there's anybody on your team that wants to join, we want to let them in. So send them the link. We'd love to have them hop on. So with that, we'll go ahead and turn the time over to you. Thank you so much for joining us again.
Thank you so much, Andrew. And I am just so excited to be with you guys today. I see a few faces I recognize. I got to be there in India. What was it, Andrew? 2 years ago, 3 years ago for the grand opening. I have to say that
Yeah,
was amazing.
November 2022, we took you to the Taj Mahal, right?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. It was truly one of those experiences that just kind of shape your life a little bit. And I loved getting to meet you guys, getting to experience some of doTERRA India. So this is really a treat to be able to come and talk to you today and share some of that energy. So thank you for having me. And I'm excited to talk to you about some of these products because not only are the promotions exciting, but then we're going to talk about MetaPower, and that's really become one of my go-tos, and we'll talk about why that is. So let's dive in and talk first about the exciting promotions that are coming up because these are some oils and products that are really staples for me too. So I'm excited to talk about them. Let me see if this will go. There we go. Okay, so past tense. Now, this one is one of my oils that I carry with me, especially when I travel, right? This is one that helps me when I'm feeling stressed. The combination that it's got with the lavender, the wintergreen, the peppermint, it's got such an amazing feel on your skin. But then it's got the oils like frankincense, marjoram, rosemary that linger a little bit longer. And I have to tell you the funny story, when I started using past tense, I noticed that, it would just have this lovely, lovely aroma. And then after a while, I would really smell like cilantro. And at first, I did not love the smell of cilantro. And I felt like I was just going around all the time smelling like cilantro. But there's something in our brains called neural plasticity. Neural plasticity. And that is as we are repeatedly exposed to a smell or, some kind of stimulus, our brain actually changes. And that's happened with a number of essential oils that now I like it. So I find that as I put on my past tense and I'm smelling all the layers that are coming and I'm feeling that stress kind of melt away, I don't hate that cilantro anymore. I'm okay smelling like cilantro for a really long time. So this is one that is amazing. I will use it right kind of on my neck, on my back. This time of year when we're getting ready for a global convention, this is really one of my go-to oils because it is something that really does help, not just with the topical part, but then the aromatic experience as well. So this one, great to use as part of a massage, helping calm the emotions. It's really quite a lovely essential oil. When I use it with my kids, I do add some carrier oil because it's very strong. So that is something to consider too. If you have skin that's very sensitive, it will still work and be very powerful if you use a carrier oil. So that's something that we will tell people. So it looks like this one is 10% off 1st of September through 30th of September. Anything else we need to know about the housekeeping of that one for the promotion, Andrew?
No, you got it. Just it's 10% off for this month, so grab it while it's available. It's a newer product. It's been launched for a few months, but it's amazing, and I know a lot of people love it to help with head tension.
Yeah, at work, in the car driving. I mean, this is an amazing essential oil. I always travel with it. It's one of my go-tos for traveling. So I think you'll find as you start using it that it becomes something that you really reach for. It's an amazing blend. Okay, what's next? Product of the month, Digest and Touch. Oh, I'm excited about this one too. So, Digest Zen, we've had this as one of our blends. I think it's one of our legacy blends at doTERRA. It's something that has been around for a really long time and for very good reason. The blend of essential oils in here has this beautiful minty aroma, but there's a lot of power in there to really help with those feelings of nausea and help soothe some of the digestive discomforts that many of us experience fairly often. It's a very human condition. I personally, this is one that I'll always think of when my kids come to me, Mom, my stomach. And, I don't know if it's because they're stressed out about school or because they ate something they shouldn't have. But my daughter came in late one night last week and she was holding her stomach. And I think it was because she had a math test the next day and she was really nervous. But I reached for that Digest and Touch. And what I love about it is it's already got some carrier oil in it. So it is massage ready. And I said, okay, lay down. And I massaged this into her stomach. And as I did that, with some nice soothing strokes, we talked and the aroma was coming up and we were both feeling a lot more calm. And within just minutes, she said, oh, that's better. And that is the kind of empowering that doTERRA is so good at and that these essential oils are so good at. So in the car when they're not feeling very good because we're driving and they're, feeling the motion in the plane when we're feeling the motion. This is an amazing essential oil blend to reach for. So really convenient, already in the touch format, really good for those with sensitive skin. I'll put it right on my kids' bellies or I'll put it, in their hands and have them smell it if they're not feeling very well. It works very quickly and it's a really powerful blend. So peppermint, coriander, ginger, caraway, cardamom, fennel. These are all things that instinctively we think about in terms of healthy digestion too. So it's just very convenient to have them all there in that blend. It's a powerhouse. So product of the month. Andrew, what's the deal with this one?
So this is a newer product as well. We've always had the Digest Zen, the pure oil, since we opened the market, but this is very kid friendly. The product of the month comes for free if you place a 125 PV order on the loyalty rewards program. So this is a free product that you're going to get this month up until the 15th if you place that 125 PV.
Oh, that is huge. So if you've never tried DigestZen or you haven't tried it for a while, you're not familiar with it, this is the time to place that order and get it for free and try it out. I think you're going to love it. It's one of the ones that we use quite a bit of in my house with I got 6 kids and they all have got something going on. So we use a lot of DigestZen as well. Okay. How about Roman chamomile? Oh, this one. This is such a beautiful essential oil. It's a short plant. I love kind of the botany of this one because it's a really short plant. It kind of looks like a daisy, but it has the nickname of being the plant's physician because this little plant kind of spreads its aroma, its essential oil to nearby plants. And it tends to be kind of this helper plant for those things around it. So it kind of makes sense that that same chemistry is very calming, very helpful for our systems as well. And one of the reasons it may be called Roman chamomile, ancient Romans used to use it to help calm themselves and get that courage when they went into war. So again, we look at the ancient uses of our essential oils and the way that they function in their botanical environment to say what might they be able to do for us. So that calming, that courage and confidence. Those are the great things about this essential oil. So it's wonderful to put on topically. It's got an aroma that's floral, but also sweet. It's a little bit woody. It's really, really nice. And it really does kind of bring that calming and that feeling of, okay, I got this. It's very gentle. So it's something that can be used for kids, for small children. It's a really nice oil to use at night as part of a massage. It can also be used internally. So it goes very well with teas. I'll love it with chamomile tea or sometimes with my peppermint tea. Um, this is also a really nice one to use in your skincare products. So a drop in your shampoo, conditioner, moisturizer. It really helps add some of that soothing wherever it's used topically. So it's great for, scalp that might be hot or itchy, skin that might get dry and irritated. This is one that my kids really like the smell of as well. And you'll probably, if you're familiar with some of our blends, it's a common component in some of our other blends, and it goes very well with them. So, one of the places that I have known it the most and used it the most is in our Serenity blend. So, if you add a little bit to Serenity or you add a little bit to lavender or vetiver or balance, it's almost like an enhancer for those different essential oil blends. So again, if you're not very familiar with this essential oil, this is the time to get it because it is the promotion. And it looks like you get a free bottle with 150 PV orders. So this is a great time. I love these products of the month and promotionals because it gives you a chance to branch out a little bit, try things that you maybe otherwise wouldn't or aren't as familiar with. So, okay, Andrew, anything else on that one? Make sure I hit all these
No,
really.
yeah, no, that's it. Honestly, so if you place an enrollment order, if you're a new customer, you haven't joined yet, this is a perfect time to join because you're going to get Roman chamomile for free. It's a very precious oil. It's so soothing. It's like Nicole said, it's very gentle with even your youngest children. But Roman chamomile, from a business perspective, it makes sense to join this month because you get it for free if you place a 150 PV order. Or even if you're an existing customer, you place that order, you're going to get it for free.
Such an amazing bonus. So yeah, definitely take advantage of that. And we'll just lead into the Loyalty Advantage program that Andrew is going to tell you about because we're excited about this too.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So, for those of you who are new or maybe existing customers, this is something newer that we started just a few months ago. We launched it at Leadership Retreat. But the Loyalty Advantage program is sort of an extra perk for our most loyal customers. So, if you've been a part of doTERRA for at least 3 months or longer, you may already be a part of this program and may not even know it. So in order to be inducted or introduced into this program, all you need to do is place 3 months of consecutive 100 PV LRP orders. So what that means is as long as you're placing your 100 PV LRP order every single month, you're going to be introduced to a website that's only available to you as part of the Loyalty Advantage program. So for those of you who are part of this program, if you've been there's 3 different levels or tiers that you participate in. So the first tier is called Jasmine Silver, and you can access that by placing 3 months of 100 PV LRP orders. You get the benefits of becoming a Jasmine Silver. So what that name means is that you get exclusive access to a website full of products that are not available to anybody else. Some of them are highly discounted, some of them are available before anybody else gets the chance to take advantage of those. But the Loyalty Advantage program is a great incentive for you to continue to order every single month, because you're going to get some products that we're going to talk about in just a second that are not available to anyone else. The next level is Lotus Gold and then Rose Diamond. So with Lotus Gold, you're going to get the advantage of getting access to things like BOGOs or new products that have been launched before anybody else. And then at Rose Diamond, so with every single one of those, when you hit Jasmine Silver, you're going to get 30 loyalty rewards points added to your account automatically. At Lotus Gold, you're going to get a free pebble diffuser. And then at Rose Diamond, you're going to get a free bubble diffuser, that wireless one that's got a little battery and it just puffs little clouds of beautiful aroma, that essential oil, into your desk space or at home or in your car. But that comes for free as a reward for you. And then we also give an anniversary gift. So it changes every year, but we give you a gift once you hit 1 year of being a member, as long as you're a Rose Diamond. So there's different perks, and they'll stack on top of each other as you continue to order. But with that, if you're at least a Jasmine Silver, which means you've placed 100 PV LRP orders, at least 3 of those in 3 different months consecutively, then you will get access to the following 2 products. There's many more on that website, and you can click on that link or scan that QR code below to see what is available there. But the next 2 products we're going to talk about are exclusively available in India only on this program. So thank you.
Fantastic, right? I mean, you're ordering the products that you already love and you get these bonuses on top of it. And I have to say, the Pebble and the Bubble diffusers, those are the 2 that I've got everywhere in my house. So those are really fun. Okay, so what about these products? I am excited about these for you guys too, because these are 2 of my other favorites. You're going to hear me say that a lot. I have so many doTERRA favorites, but these really are amazing products. TerraShield. Oh, TerraShield. We love TerraShield because my family and I were hikers, right? We have mountains all around in Utah and we love to go hiking. But we're also apparently very tasty to the various bugs that want to come bite us. So we like to get out our TerraShield, make sure we're covered head to toe. And what I like about it is it's natural, right? We're not spraying all these horrible chemicals onto our bodies, but it works and we don't come home covered in bites. And there's this really awesome aromatic experience that's also happening while we're out hiking in nature. We're smelling amazing because we can smell these essential oils, right? Cedar wood and citronella and lemongrass and thyme. It's just this wonderful aromatic experience, helps keep those bugs away, mosquitoes and things that want to bite. This is a really awesome outdoor product. So we also have, we go out into our backyard and have barbecues and cookouts. It's a great way to be able to enjoy the outdoors, to have that aromatic experience, to know that you're doing something healthy for your body while also keeping those bugs away because they don't want to come bite you because of the way that you smell, which is amazing for us, not good for them. So this is one definitely, there are some things to make sure that you're thinking about. We don't, when I'm spraying my kids, I won't like spray them directly in the face. That's a time to put it into the hands and rub it like that so you don't get it into the eyes because it will still be irritating to the eyes. But most of the time, I'm putting it on their skin. You want to avoid maybe skin that's compromised if the skin's already sunburned or if there are open cuts and wounds, stuff like that. Those are not the best places to apply. But if you've got regular skin that's going to be exposed to the outdoors, that's a great place for TerraShield, right? Naturally repelling mosquitoes. We did a lot of testing on this as we were formulating the blend. Um, Invigorating aroma, skin soothing. It's a really great blend to be able to use for the outdoors. So it's one of those that you're getting from the Loyalty Advantage program, and you're going to want to take advantage of that because it is a fantastic outdoor blend. Okay, and the other one, the On Guard Protecting Mist. Oh gosh, this is another one that I throw in my travel bag, my purse, my church bag, everywhere that I go. I make sure that I'm having one of these because, we're touching surfaces, we're with other people, and it's really nice to just have this go-to easy in the hand. You spray it, it evaporates, but it doesn't leave your hands dry, right? There's a really cool formulation in here that's got an apple extract that helps hold some of that moisture in, where a lot of the hand gels and things like that, you notice your hands get cracked and dry after a while of using those. So I love this one because it does its job. It helps keep your hands clean and make sure that you're not being exposed to all the other yucky germs that are out there, but it makes sure that your hands are not suffering as well because you're putting so much alcohol and other things on them from other sanitizing products. And as with most of our doTERRA products, it's got this amazing aroma that gives you this boost, this lift as you're using it too. So this actually we throw in our bag when we go out hiking because sometimes, on the trail, you've got to have call of nature. And my kids will come back and, they'll get grimy on their hands and we're going to eat lunch. I'll say, okay, stop. We're going to do some on guard. And that is some peace of mind for me to know that they're not going to be now putting into their mouths all the yucky things on their hands. Um, and this is one, I'll use for shopping cart handles or shopping basket handles. And it's really a nice peace of mind to know that my kids are protected and I'm doing something that's good for our bodies too. So, two fantastic products, great for travel, great for outdoors, really great for moms and families on the go. Two of my absolute favorites. And I'm really excited for you guys to have them. Okay, Andrew, anything else before we move on to MetaPower?
No, I think that's it. On Guard, once we launched it on the Loyalty Advantage program website, this quickly became a top seller. So I'm sure there's some of you who didn't know about this program, and if you still want some more details or education, reach out to your account manager, reach out to member services. We'll be happy to go over all the details with you so that you can get that product as soon as possible.
Yeah, it's fantastic. We've done some great research on this for helping show that surfaces, hands, things like that really are protected against some of those threats that are just everywhere, helping to keep us healthy. So the On Guard mist is certainly one of my family's favorites. Okay, so with that, let's turn our attention to MetaPower and talk about this amazing system, why it's so neat. I'm going to give you some of the background about it because this is one of the systems, the product systems that we actually had in development for a good 7 or 8 years before it was ready to be launched. There's a lot of research behind this and a lot of mind power and a lot of people working to say what is going to be the very best way to formulate these products. So we're going to talk about each product individually, and then we're going to talk about how and why they function so well as a system together. All right. So let's start just kind of by reviewing what is metabolism, because MetaPower is intended to help with healthy metabolism. So most people think of metabolism as, something that either helps them be fat or thin. And for a lot of us, it doesn't maybe go that much farther than that, but it's very complex metabolism. Each of our cells in our bodies has metabolic processes going on. And these are processes that are going to help convert the food and drink that we put into our bodies into energy to help our bodies run. It's a process that is going on every second of every day and night, and it is enormously complex, right? So in order to simplify it a little bit, let's think about it maybe like a transit system. We've got buses and trains and taxis going everywhere in a big city, right? Imagine your metabolic process is kind of like that. We're taking energy and molecules from here to here, and in doing so, we're powering our cells. And it's a little bit, I mean, that's a little bit simplistic, of course. It's a lot of different things. I know there's some posters hanging on the wall in back of me. You can't really see them, but the printing is almost microscopic, and these enormous posters are covered with these pathways and chemicals and all of the complicated things that are happening. And I keep them on my wall to remind myself of why we're doing what we're doing, right? That our bodies are these amazing machines, these amazing tools that we want to try and give them the right things that they need to function the way that they can and should. And we don't even need to know every single reaction that's happening. We just need to be able to understand, okay, these are the things that I can do to be able to influence my body for the good. So the transit system, we don't have much control over that, just like we wouldn't if we were coming into a big city and we were trying to, make our way somewhere on the transit system. But we know that there are things we can do to make the experience better, right? We can be to the bus stop on time. We can go to the right train station, things like that. So those are some of the tools that we're going to kind of think about as we're thinking about metabolism, things that we can do to really make a difference. Now, that's the positive messaging. As you are teaching about this, as you have this set of products in the market soon, your message to people is going to be one that's very empowering, right? We are not a slave to our genetics only. Our mom may have had diabetes. Our grandma may have had diabetes. That doesn't mean we need to, right? We might have the genes that make us more predisposed to it, but so much of what happens to us is what we can choose to do, right? We can choose that. And some of what I'm so excited about in doTERRA's current research is on this idea of epigenetics, meaning what happens on top of our genetics. That's what the epi means in epigenetics. What are the tools? What are the signals that are being sent based on what we're doing? Right? The things that we're doing every single day are sending messages to our genes, telling them which genes to turn up and really express, and which genes to turn down and silence and not express. That is our goal, to send the most positive messages that we can to our genes so that they know the optimal ways to be expressing the proteins that we need to make. Now, again, that's a lot. That's a big idea to think about, but we can really simplify that into 5 things that can be done that are sending the right kinds of messages, right? Healthy eating. And most of us intuitively kind of know what healthy eating is, but ideally, the easiest way to think about that is whole foods, right? Fresh fruits and vegetables that are not processed, meats, lean meats and poultry, things like that. Again, minimally processed as much as possible, but fresh. These are the things that are going to send the best messages to our bodies. Why? Because think of how our ancestors used to eat when there didn't used to be packaged foods and additives and things like that. They ate a lot of these fresh foods. That's what our genes are needing to see. Those are the messages that are the most healthy for our bodies to be able to receive. So, healthy eating, daily movement. Again, most of us intuitively know I should exercise, but even if it's not so much like I have to go to the gym, what about moving more during the day, getting up, walking around, taking a walk to or from work or in the evening with a family member? These kinds of movements throughout the day are good, because think again about how our ancestors used to live on farms, in villages, in forests. They moved a lot. So this is what our genes like to have this messaging for. It's what they're used to. It's what they are seeking. Stress management. I know this is a big one. We live stressful lives. We live lives that demand a lot from us. So helping to manage that, helping to take some time for meditation or prayer, or just sitting and enjoying an aroma of an essential oil, for example. Those moments are what our bodies need sometimes to say, okay, I'm grounded again. I'm calm. I can do this. I can get back to whatever I was needing to do. But just that moment helps us to send the right messages to our bodies that we're okay. Healthy connections. This is one that we don't maybe often think about as much, but there's been quite a bit of research done showing that people with the longest lifespans are the ones that have strong connections to family, to friends, to a social support group. It's interesting because we are social beings, right? We grew up surviving in groups. People that were on their own didn't typically survive as long because there were too many dangers, too many things they came up against. So you might notice a lot of my messaging is kind of reminding us who we are, who our ancestors were, because in some ways we've deviated a lot from that, and we can see that that's taking a toll on our health. So if we think about some of the really good things about how our ancestors lived and take that into consideration, I truly think that we will be a healthier society. So connections, community, having people around you who support you and who you support will really help that health, the health of your body, those messages that are being sent. And finally, smart supplementation. Now, this is something that doTERRA is very good at because we think about it in terms of what do our bodies need to function optimally. If you're eating a healthy diet and you're doing all these other things that we're talking about, you're already in a better place than a lot of people. But even with the healthiest of diet that you can imagine, all fresh foods, all, amazing, pristine things that you're eating, think about the soil that they're growing in and the air and the water. It's not what it used to be in our ancestors' days, right? The soils don't have the same micronutrients. They're a bit more stripped. They don't have the same microbiome that they used to. Again, things are changing because of our industrialized societies. So we have gaps, even with a very healthy diet. There are gaps that can be filled for optimal health, and that's where smart supplementation comes in. So things like the lifelong vitality, things like our Terrazyme and our other doTERRA products, whatever's available in the market that can help supplement that healthy diet is going to be amazing and give your body some of the things that it's otherwise missing. And that's what we're going to talk about when we're talking about MetaPower. We are now going to be adding in and having available certain things that are going to send messages to our metabolisms to be optimized, to work better, more efficiently, to help our bodies to be what they can be. So we're going to talk about kind of the three pillar products, which is the oil blend inside the soft gels, the oil blend in the bottle and the soft gels, the assist, and the advantage. Okay, those three, and they work all in a little bit different ways, but they all work to help optimize that metabolism. So let's start kind of where this all started. MetaPower, the idea, the dream started with the oil blend. About, 7, 8, maybe even 10 years ago, I was working in Idaho at the time. I had my lab up there rather than in Utah where I am now, but I got a call from Dr. Hill. You guys have probably heard from Dr. Hill at some point. He's amazing. He is a visionary in the essential oil world. And he called me and he said, we don't have a good option to help with metabolism, do we? In the lineup that we had at that time. And doTERRA was still very young. I said, no, we really don't. So he and I spent a good hour on the phone brainstorming what essential oils would be good in a metabolic blend and what kinds of products would be helpful for a metabolic line. It was one of the most exciting and just mind expanding conversations that I had had in a really long time. And the oils that we came up with eventually made their way through a long research process into this essential oil blend. And each of the oils was very carefully chosen for its chemistry, for what it does for the body. So if you look at the oils that are in there, right, we've got grapefruit and lemon. These are two of our very powerful citrus essential oils. Now, citrus has some great research showing that it can really help with appetite, right? If you start to get stressed during the day and your appetite's kind of out of control, these can help send the signal to your body, okay, it's stress. You're not necessarily hungry, you're stressed. Let's try and work that stress down. It can help with satiety, right? After you've eaten the right number of calories, but you might still feel like you want to eat, even though you're not necessarily hungry. I get that sometimes. This helps send that signal to your body. It's okay. I don't need to eat anymore. I'm good. I'm satiated. And the limonene in the citrus essential oils is really good for sending the right signals to your body for how it is handling its fats, right? Fats are an important part of our diet. They're an important part of our cells. I know that society sometimes makes them into the enemy. They're not. They're important. But our bodies need to be able to handle them the right way. So I'm going to show you in just a minute some research about how this oil blend works to do that. But just know that the citrus essential oils are really powerful in helping your body have the right signals for how it's going to manage its fats. Okay, so then on the other side of the bottle, we're looking at ginger, cinnamon, peppermint. So ginger and cinnamon, these are very warming essential oils, right? So when we think of kind of firing up our metabolism, we think about stoking those fires that are helping to burn our food into energy. Those are two oils that really come to mind, right? And the research supports that. Cinnamon is one of our most researched essential oils when it comes to metabolism, handling blood sugars, balancing what's happening in our metabolism. And ginger, very well known for supporting healthy digestion. Peppermint as well, if you're looking at that one down below. Now, why would we include essential oils that are important for digestion? Well, that's one of the very first steps of our metabolism, right? We have to absorb these molecules from our food before they can be burned and digested, put into our metabolism for energy. So, as we're supporting both that digestive and absorption process, the managing of how these molecules are reacting in our bodies, and then making sure that those fires are stoked as we're having those metabolic reactions, it's an amazing, very powerful essential oil blend. Now, we thought, okay, is this blend going to do what we wanted to do? So we had to test it before we could call it a doTERRA blend, call it MetaPower. So we devised an experiment where we had some fat cells. Now these are this is the experiment that I'm going to show you is called in vitro. So this is actually in a petri dish, but they are human fat cells. They were actually taken from a human being and grown in a petri dish. So it's typically called it's technically called ex vivo because it's taken from a human and now put into a petri dish rather than inside a human. So a little bit different, but the concept is still the same. How does the blend react with the fat cells? That was our question. So when we had these fat cells in the petri dish, we said, okay, fat cells, we want you to grow. We're going to give you all the signals that are going to tell you to store fat, be healthy, plump fat cells. And so you can see in the picture, over the course of 14 days, these fat cells are receiving the signals to grow, 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 be big fat cells. And they were happy, big, fat cells. And then we thought, okay, can we interrupt that process? Let's see if I can click it. There we go. If we're still sending those signals to grow, grow, store that fat, can we interrupt those signals with an essential oil blend? Can we send the signals with our MetaPower that even though they're still healthy cells themselves, they're not storing lots and lots and lots of fat? That was the question, the research question, okay? So we had some of the cells that we just let grow into big fat cells and some of the cells that we treated with the essential oil blend to see what happened. And what did we find? This is what we found, right? In the beginning, the cells were healthy, they were fat. As they started to grow over the course of time, compared to their other fat cells, these ones just didn't store the fat. The essential oil blend was giving them the message, be a healthy cell, but you don't need to store all this fat. You're good. So what we ended up with by day 14 was very lean fat cells. That was really exciting to see. We compared that essential oil blend with several other blends of similar essential oils, right? We basically took the same oils and did different levels in several blends and compared them. We actually saw a difference, and MetaPower, what became MetaPower, was the one that you're seeing the data here. It performed the very best of all the blends. So there is definitely something to be said for optimizing the levels of the oils in the blend. doTERRA does that very well. And we wanted to make sure that the cells themselves were healthy, and they were. All right, we didn't want an oil blend that was so strong and so crazy that it would actually kill the cells. No, we want to keep our fat cells. They're important for us. We just don't want them to store fat. So that was the interesting outcome of this research, right? We optimized the blend with the right essential oils at the right levels. And we found that we could send signals to healthy fat cells that let them stay healthy, but encourage them to store less of the fat, right? Release it, give us energy. Let's burn that rather than store that. And that was very exciting for us to see. So remember, this was in human cells in a dish. We're doing additional research to show what happens now in actual full human beings, right? Can we see this effect over time as someone is using the blend? We've seen a lot of results in people that have been using the blend. We haven't had a full scientific study completed yet on that. So we're in process of doing some additional validation on this blend. But what we've seen so far is very, very exciting because it does exactly what we hope it does and helps us manage our fat in healthy ways. So what does this mean for you? Right? If you aren't a super science person, you're like, that doesn't mean much to me. What this does mean to you, though, is you have an easy to use uh, oil blend that you can either take in the capsule or uses the oil blend, and it's going to send some positive signals to cells to help with, a healthy appetite levels, healthy satiety, and helping to manage how your body is handling its fat systems. Very powerful. I actually really like to use the essential oil blend in a few different ways. I'll put it on my diffuser in my office because sometimes if I'm stressed at work and I don't feel like I have time to stop for lunch, I'll just be eating at my desk. And sometimes I'll not even be paying attention, not be doing it very mindfully. When I smell that essential oil blend, it's sending a signal. Okay, number one, I need to be more mindful about what I am eating. Number two, it helps me realize, okay, I'm paying attention more and making sure that I'm actually following my appetite and not my stress levels when I'm eating. So it's a really good cue. It's a good cue when I'm doing it in my office to think and be more mindful about what I'm eating and to take some time, right? We talked about taking a little bit of time for that stress management. This is a signal for me. The essential oil blend is a really great signal for that. So the blend is where it all started, that essential oil blend. And we've got that essential oil blend woven as a thread through all of the MetaPower products. And it is in the next product too that we're going to talk about, which is the MetaPower Assist. So we've got our healthy fat management taken care of with the essential oil blend. What about glucose management? Now, glucose, of course, sugars, carbohydrates. This is one of our main fuel sources in our body. We are made to burn carbohydrates for energy. Now, the good news is that we can do that very well. The bad news is there's so many carbohydrates around and they're highly, highly refined, which our bodies aren't made to handle as well. Think back to our ancestors. They didn't have the processed foods that we have nowadays. They had high fibers and they had lots of other fruits and vegetables and proteins along with it. So the signals that our bodies are getting now from our processed foods, our fast foods, very different and not very optimal for a good metabolism. So the idea behind the assist is to say, let's help with some of that signaling. Let's help signal to the body about healthy digestion of these glucose molecules. So in this blend, right, we've got, again, our metabolic essential oil blend to send a good signal to our body. And then one of the stars, we've got a few stars in this blend, but the mulberry leaf extract has a lot of great research on it for helping to manage the level of blood sugar after you eat. Berberine also is one of our stars in there. That is going to help with some of the antioxidant capabilities, right? Every time we eat and we're stoking those fires and burning things for energy, we're also creating waste products. Kind of like the engine of a car creates exhaust, right? We have to have ways to deal with those waste products. Berberine is a powerful way to do that, as is the cinnamon bark powder that's in there. Right? These are both good antioxidants that help manage some of those waste products that are coming off from our metabolic processes. The cinnamon bark powder has also been greatly studied for helping with how our cells are transporting the glucose in and out of our cells. So it's a good signal to our bodies to take up that glucose and burn it rather than having it float around in our bloodstream and keep our blood sugar levels high, which is something that we want to avoid. So if you think about it kind of like a roller coaster, right? Many of us have been on amusement park roller coasters at a park somewhere, or on a road with a lot of hills. After we eat, it's like we go up a big hill and we get to the top, but then after we can crash down. If we've had a really high carbohydrate meal, have you ever felt that before? You get this wonderful high of energy, but then you crash down and you just feel so sluggish and so tired. It's kind of like that every day. We're eating and then we're kind of crashing. So we feel like we want to eat again. That's a signal to our body when we crash. Oh, time to eat again. So we eat again and then we crash again. And every day we're having that cycle. The problem is, over time, if you're getting really high highs and then crashing down low, that can cause damage to the cellular systems, right? That extreme up and down of the blood sugar can actually damage some of our small capillaries. It can damage some of our organs. And over time, it wears the system out, right? I explained this when I was trying to explain to my kids about this. I was telling them, imagine you're driving a car, and instead of just kind of going at a nice, even pace, you are pushing the gas as hard as you can and then slamming on the brakes as hard as you can. And then pushing the gas as hard as you can again and slamming on the brakes over and over and over. And I asked him, how long do you think a car would last if you did that? Hmm, yeah, not very long, Mom. Like, yeah, not very long. And that's just it. We would wear the car out. We will wear our bodies out if we continuously spike and crash and spike and crash. So, our question here is, can we get something to help minimize that spike? So instead of slamming on the gas, we're doing a slow acceleration of our car and then a slow braking of our car. Much more gentle. That's the question, right? So our research, we took people in a research study and we fitted them with a little device that measured their glucose all day and all night. We wanted to see what happened when they would eat their normal meals. And in the night, you often have a spike in glucose because your body is building new cells and things like that. So we were seeing people, all day long, these spikes and crashes. And we said, okay, now what happens if we add in some assist right as they're eating their meals? Right? What if we can help keep those spikes from spiking quite so high? Will it work? Well, yes, it does. Let me show you. This is some actual data. So you can see in the top one, this is one of our participants' actual data that was from a single day, one day. The top panel is when they didn't have any MetaPower assist. They were just eating as they normally would. And you can see spike, crash, spike, crash, spike, crash all day long. This is what most of our bodies are doing all the time. And their blood sugar, their fasting blood sugar was over 100. And typically we like that to be under 100 because that means that we don't have a lot of blood sugar circulating around in our bodies that can also cause some damage. Now look down below. This is when we started having them take their MetaPower assist with their meals, right? And you can see it's so much more flat. It's so much less of the spiking, crashing, spiking, crashing. And they said, I feel so much better. I don't have those major, like almost frantic energy bursts and then crashes where I feel like I have to take a nap. They said, I have energy all day long. And you can see their fasting blood sugar went from 102 to 89. So now they're down in the range of absolute optimal blood sugar. So we were really excited to see this. And I actually tried this myself before we did the clinical trial. My team and I like to kind of test some things on ourselves sometimes. And I was a little concerned because I tend to have the opposite problem. Like my blood sugar will get very low and I'll feel really terrible. So then I'll spike up and then I'll get low again. And so we worried, is it going to make people's blood sugar too low? Well, I put on one of these little monitors and was trying it myself. And I was amazed because it's almost like, I went from here way down low to up into a normal range and just steady as can be. It was unbelievable. Like I was like, this is a product that I want to take every day. And so that was kind of our goal, to get people to have this be a product that they're taking daily because we're eating daily and our body needs to be able to manage those blood sugars daily. So this is how it works, right? We have glucose that's hooking on to our enzymes. It's being broken down, it's being processed. The mulberry leaf has a molecule in it that acts almost like a blocker, right? It goes into the space where the sugar normally would be. And so the sugar has nowhere to go. So it's like, okay, well, I guess I won't get processed. So it doesn't get processed. And we can actually pass some of it right through our body without spiking our blood sugar. And the even better news is, as we're passing some of that sugar through our body without digesting it, the microbes down in our microbiome have some additional food to feed on. So in a way, we're kind of improving our microbiome at the same time we're improving our blood sugar. It's a fantastic product. Really, really exciting. So what does this mean for you? Okay, we've now talked about being able to handle healthy fat management, healthy blood sugar management. This means if you're using the assist, and you can educate about the assist, you are helping with sustained healthy levels of blood sugar throughout the day, helping minimize those spikes and crashes and spikes and crashes that over time damage our cells. Right? So this is something that is helping to slow that digestion of the carbohydrates, gives you nice longer energy peaks as opposed to big spikes of energy. And this is something that we encourage people to take 1 to 2 capsules before the meal that they know is going to be their highest carbohydrate meal. Right? I'll sometimes take it in multiple meals of the day if I know that there's going to be several meals that have lots of carbohydrates. But even one meal a day where you know you have a lot of carbs and you can take this assist will make a difference for your blood sugar, and it will make a difference for the health of your cells. So it's a fantastic product, and it pairs beautifully with that essential oil blend. Because again, it's all about the signals that we're sending to our bodies. And then as we move into talking about the advantage, this is where some of those body signals are just going to be crazy amazing, right? So we have told the body healthy fat management, healthy glucose management. What else? What about healthy antioxidant management and healthy aging signals? Healthy management of some of the proteins in our bodies, like collagen. This is where Advantage is such an amazing product, right? You can see it's a very complicated, complex product. It has a lot of amazing ingredients in there. So we're going to just highlight a few. We won't have time to talk about all of the individual ones and the wonderful things they do. Maybe we'll just do a whole training sometime on MetaPower Advantage because we could. But we're going to just highlight a few here and then we'll go into a little bit more detail. So resveratrol, sea buckthorn, rose apple, these are all very powerful antioxidants. So we talked about how we need to be able to manage some of the wastes that are being generated during our metabolic process. These are fantastic ingredients to help with some of that. Very, very powerful. We have NADH and NMN. Now, these are actually some of the components of cellular energy itself, right? We have inside of our cell, if you remember back from biology, the little mitochondria are the powerhouses of our cells, right? And they are helping to generate and cycle through NADH. NMN is one of the molecules on that process as they're cycling through it. So these are two components that are helping us with our cellular energy, right? We talked about stoking that fire of metabolism. This is one of the ways to do that. And then let's talk about the marine collagen tripeptides. Unless we have a really, really well fish-based diet, which some people do, and they're a lot better off than most of us, we're not getting very much collagen in our diet. The problem is collagen is everywhere in our bodies. It's in just about every place you can think of. It's part of our muscles and joints, bones, even our brains. So this is a really important nutrient, a really important building block for our bodies that many of us do not get enough of. So let's focus in just for a second on, we talked about a few of these already, so we'll just kind of reiterate the NMN. So this is for helping us synthesize some of those energy components. Resveratrol, we talked about also as an antioxidant. It helps increase NAD. That's part of that energy cycle that we talked about. So one of the things that we hear people talk about a lot when they're taking the advantage is that they feel like they have more energy. They feel more energized. And that's a natural response when your body is functioning better, when those mitochondria are working the way that they're supposed to. Now, the collagen tripeptides, let's go back to that for a second. In most products that you're going to find on the market that say, I'm a collagen product, you need to take me to be healthy. The problem is that collagen as a molecule is huge. It's a huge molecule. And many of the times we actually can't absorb that big of a molecule. So sometimes it'll just pass right through and we will get no benefit from it. The difference with the collagen that's in the Advantage is it has actually been hydrolyzed. So it's been broken up into littler pieces so that we can absorb these pieces of the collagen and be able to use them in our cells where they're needed, right? We are constructing new cells all the time, we're repairing cells that have been damaged. And this is one of the most important things that the collagen is doing for us. We're thinking about it in terms of structural integrity, of new cells being built, and um, some things like aging. Think about one of the things that happens in aging, our collagen starts to break down, right? We start to get wrinkles, we start to get sagging, we start to get things that are happening as the collagen starts to break down and we can't repair it because we're not replacing it. What if we could replace it? What if we had some in our diet, in our Advantage, that our bodies could then use to be able to rebuild some of those cells? Amazing, right? Some of the research that we've done with this one, having people take some advantage and then measuring what's happening on the level of their cells and their genes. We have seen genes being turned up that are specific for helping our bodies age more beautifully, right? So SIRT, the SIRT1 genes, they are very important, age-related genes. They are something that tends to kind of fall off and not be expressed as we get older. But if we can keep those levels high, we age much more beautifully. We're more active into our older years. There's a few of them here. You can look at them. The names or letters are all long and annoying, but SAD3 is it? And NADSYN, NAD synthase. These are all genes that are associated with how our bodies are responding to, our process of aging, our daily existence, the stresses that are being put in our bodies and how we're responding. So you can see on this chart, the gray is the placebo. So these were just people that were taking some kind of drink powder that wasn't Advantage. And then you can see the MetaPower Advantage. We increase the expression of these beautiful aging genes, these healthy aging genes, very considerably, like many hundreds of times in some cases. So our cells essentially act younger when these genes are turned on. That's a good thing. Now, we have done studies in human beings as well with the MetaPower Advantage. And what we find is that we have increase in the levels of the cellular energy. So remember, this is the mitochondria and the function of how that energy is being produced and processed. We saw increases in NAD plus levels. That's one of those energy molecules that's happening, being used inside the mitochondria. And of course, we wanted to see, well, how are you actually feeling? What is this doing for you as you're using this MetaPower Advantage product? And we saw people coming back and saying, my energy level is way better. My quality of life is way better. My body feels better. I'm moving better. And, we had a lot of great positive feedback from people who are using this consistently. Some people were talking about their hair, their skin. These are very obvious collagen-rich tissues of our bodies. So as you start having a collagen supplement, you're starting to see effects that are very visible as well as feeling inside your body. Okay, something is definitely better. So, what does this mean for you? How do you talk about MetaPower Advantage and teach people about it? Well, this has been shown to have an important effect on this mitochondrial molecule NAD+, meaning that it is intended to help with cellular energy, right? The ways that your body is going through its metabolic and other processes. This can help with oxidative stress, so some of those waste products of metabolism that we've talked about, and it can help with some of the building blocks of the cells themselves in the collagen. It's so easy to use is what I love about it. You've got your little packet, you put it in some water, you shake it up, and you drink it. And I would recommend, drinking it, not, you don't have to guzzle it too fast, but quickly after you drink it, simply because that's when all of those molecules are the most fresh. After a while, there is some oxidation that can happen. So I wouldn't let it sit around throughout the day and just kind of sip on it. I'll drink mine right down. And that's the best way to get it in and let your body start using those amazing components. So that's some of the background, some of the amazing on each of the three pieces. Now, let's talk about what that would look like in a system for you, right? You might wake up in the morning and want to, feel refreshed, feel ready to go. This is when I would diffuse my MetaPower Essential Oil Blend. My kids love this really bright, really energizing kind of aroma. So we have this on our diffuser. I'll put it on my diffuser at work. Add a drop to water. It's really nice to be able to get a little bit of that flavor and get some of the oil internally so that I know my cells are getting the right signals. And, if you're also working in some of your other foundational doTERRA products, the MetaPower system works very well with these, right? The things like, I can't remember exactly what you have in your market. So Andrew will have to come on and correct me in a second if I'm wrong, but things like Lifelong Vitality or Terrazyme or Digestin, any of those things that you have, these work beautifully with them. They work in concert, right? They're all giving your body the signals that it needs to function optimally. So then a meal time comes, right? I'll usually have my MetaPower with either lunch or dinner or sometimes both if I know that I'm having a really high carbohydrate meal or a meal that I know that I want to have that sustained energy release. Typically, if you take it 30 minutes before, that gives your body time to break down, the capsule shell and allow that to be absorbed before your food comes in. But if you forget, it's still okay to take your MetaPower Assist with your meal. And we did have some questions. I know in the US, Terrazyme is a really big product. And Terrazyme is a product that adds enzymes into your body to help you digest your food better. And MetaPower Assist is a product that blocks enzymes. And so we thought, oh, are those two products going to fight with each other? So we actually did a study to say, are these two products going to cancel each other out? The good news is they don't. So if you guys, I don't know if you have Terrazyme in your market or if you get some in the US or whatever, but it's one of my absolute favorites. And I do take my Terrazyme and my MetaPower Assist. They actually enhance each other. We're not quite sure how, but they were shown to actually enhance the activity. Very, very cool. So if you take them with your food or before you eat your meal, that's where you're going to get your best result. And that's what we'd recommend doing with that. And then the MetaPower Advantage, this one, some people take it in the morning because they feel like it gives them more energy. Some people take it at night because they feel like it helps them sleep better and it makes them feel, tired and relaxed. So people take it right in the middle of the day. This is one of those products where your genes and your situation are really going to be what you're going to figure out. So get the MetaPower Advantage and try it. And I would say maybe start in the middle of the day. That's typically where I take mine, like with lunchtime, because I do feel a little bit of energy burst until the end of the day. And then I'm nice and tired and relaxed and ready to sleep. If you feel like it makes you tired, if you take it in the middle of the day, take it at night. That's a great time to take it. If you feel like, oh, now I'm too energized to sleep, take it in the morning because that way you'll have energy for your day. This is a really fun one to kind of experiment with and see how your body's going to respond. But I would encourage you to kind of um, take some before pictures or some measurements. Maybe, measure your waist circumference or some of your body measurements, or, take a picture of what your hair looks like, things like that. Because sometimes as we're doing something for a while and we're just seeing little changes, we're like, oh, this isn't doing anything. But if we saw a picture before we started and now, we're like, okay, that changes. My body composition has changed. The way that I look and feel has changed. Even if you can't see it on the cellular level, many times you will see some changes if you start with a starting point. So if you're talking to people about this, encourage them, take a before picture, take some before measurements, see what happens as you go through this process, because it is an amazing process, very transformative. We've heard from a lot of people that this is a combination of products that has changed their life. They feel more young, they feel more vital. They have had good success with changing their body composition to a more healthy state, with increasing and improving their metabolism. We've had people that have said this combination of products has made me feel so young, so vital, and they hadn't felt that for quite some time. So I'm one of those that the MetaPower system for me has really been a game changer. Right? I have struggled with really high levels of stress and really some trouble with my metabolism for a long time. So as we were developing these products and my team and I got to test them and try them, I could really see a change. And it's been a very positive change for me. So I'm excited for you guys to have them, to be able to try them, and especially to be able to educate others and share them. Because I just finished a degree in public health, and we talked about how metabolic syndromes are an absolutely global problem right now. There's not a country on the planet that can't benefit from having a healthier metabolism and healthier lifestyle choices to go along with it. So I think you'll find that a lot of people are open to what you're saying. And I think if they try this, that they're going to find some amazing results.